How long should my fermented feed last? How long should I keep my fermented feed? Should I feed my fermented feed to day old chicks? What are the don'ts and don'ts that I need to know about feed fermentation? Well, you're in the right place. Right, welcome back to the channel. This is Farmers Hub. In today's video, we are going to be discussing the don'ts and don'ts of feed fermentation. What you need to know about feed fermentation. Is it really good to feed fermented feed to our chickens? And is it a low feed cost path for us to follow? This is what we are going to be discussing in this video. But before we move fully into this video, if you are visiting us for the first time, this is Farmers Hub. Hit that subscribe button and turn on your bell notification so that you get our old and recent video. Be glad to have you as part of our community. So over some time now, I've made a video on feed fermentation and I get a lot of questions, both the community on YouTube, the one offline, and even people that know me in general, people that see me every day. They ask me lot of questions about feed fermentation. Now I have your questions written here and I'm going to be answering them one by one. So stay tuned and watch this video to the end because yours might be at the last, middle, or might be first, and you might even get your question answered at the first attempt, and might even want to have knowledge of other questions that we are going to be answering in this video today. Now the first question is, how long should feed fermentation last, or how long should fermented feed last? Now, fermented feed should not last more than 2 to 3 days. Fermented feed should not last more than 2 to 3 days. After this period, you start having your fermented feed spoiling. Well, you may not detect it spoiling physically, but after 3 days, you see your fermented feed start growing mold. And when you serve a moldy feed or feed with mold to your chickens, the implication is that your chickens will not grow or do better. So fermented feed should last up to 2 to 3 days. This is the first question. Now the second question is, once I complete the last day of feed fermentation and I've done everything and I'll start serving them to my chickens, should I leave it to be like that, or what else should I do? Now, if you complete your last day of fermentation and you start feeding them to your chickens, it is advisable you stir your fermented feed regularly. For the period of 3 days that you are going to be leaving them, it is advisable you stir it regularly. Now, the next question is, well, I'm not going to be going it as a next question. I'm just going to be reading it. Remember, we are discussing the do's and don'ts of feed fermentation. Now, I have it here that you should always check for change of smell in your fermented feed. Yes, if you keep them for 2 days and it's going to 3 days and you're having a change of smell, know that there are issues that are trying to occur in your fermented feed. So always check for change of smell in your fermented feed. If you are having or noticing a change of smell, add fresh clean water to your fermented feed. Now, where should I keep my fermented feed after fermenting it for the period of fermentation and I've started serving them to my chicken? Where is the advisable place to keep my fermented feed? You are advised, or it is advisable for you to keep your fermented feed in a cool environment. You are advisable to keep your fermented feed in a cool environment. Now, this question is very, very important. I'm not going to skip it and I'm not going to say it now. Can I feed fermented feed to the old chicks? This is a very important question I have here. And I have another important question, but let's go with this first. Can I feed fermented feed to the old chicks? Of course, you can feed fermented feed to the old chicks. but once in a week. And once in a week does not mean you are going to be giving them 24 hours once in a week. You are going to be introducing them gradually to fermented feed. So you can give them little portion in the morning, decide to feed them with the dry match or anything you are giving them during the day or at night. Or you might decide to feed them at night and the rest, or decide to give them fermented feed at during the afternoon. But just make sure you are doing this once in a week for day old chicks. Should I give my laying hen fermented feed? Yes, you can give your laying hens fermented feed, but if only they are used to fermented feed from the beginning. If only you started serving them with fermented feed from the beginning. Or if you want to start alternating fermented feed, if you want to start alternating their feed and you want to start giving them fermented feed, do this gradually. Try to check for their signs, for the signs they show to you. If it is not good, then you return back to your normal feed. And if you move to fermented feed and they are giving you good result, then you should continue. You first start with 25%, you move to 50, you move to 70, you move to 90, then you move to full feed fermenting feed food for your chickens. Now, if you want to keep it long, it is advisable, if you want to keep your fermented feed long, it is advisable you add molasses. Yes, it is good you add molasses if you want to keep your fermented feed long. Don't close the container if the room temperature is high. Normally, it is advisable when you are done with your feed fermentation, it is advisable the container is open. But when you expose it to air, other living organisms like flies and the rest might come and lay eggs on it. That is why you are closing your fermented feed. But it's really advisable you open it so that there will be exchange of gas. But in the process where you are going to be covering it, don't cover it when in a place where the room temperature is high. Yeah. Always add fresh, clean water to your fermented feed. Yes, every fucking day it is advisable to add fresh, clean water to your fermented feed. This is to help prevent them from mold. Yes, don't feed dry fermented feed to your chickens. Don't feed it because your fermented feed can go dry after one day. So always add clean, fresh water to it and before serving it to your chickens. Now, don't feed only fermented feed 24 hours in a day. If your chickens are used to fermented feed, you can feed your chickens on fermented feed from morning to afternoon, maybe by evening. You give them little quantity of dry match or pellets. Lastly, and very important, don't ignore every sign your chickens shows to you when feeding them on fermented feed. Yes, don't ignore the signs your chickens will show to you when feeding them on fermented feed. If you are giving fermented feed to your chickens and you notice they are giving you a reaction you don't like, don't feed it to your chickens. Let me add a bonus to this video. Fermented feed is designed to help you get optimal growth, to help you cut down on feed and help your chickens to grow big. But if you don't serve them the right way, fermented feed can make your chickens to start shrinking. Yes, if you keep it for too long, it will increase the acidity of the feed and will make your chickens to start shrinking. This is one implication. So make sure you follow all the things being mentioned in this video, the don'ts and don'ts of this video. And if you'll be making your fermented feed and you feel your chickens are not eating, go down to the description to check my video on how to make fermented feed the right way. If you make fermented feed the wrong way, you are not going to be getting the result. So check the description, or at the end of this video I'm going to be leaving a video for you to watch on how to ferment your feed properly, the calculations you need to know when fermenting your feed. All right, thank you for watching this video. If you get any valuable information, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, turn on your bell notification, share this to your friends and family. Catch you up in the next video, guys. Bye.